Good morning, everyone. I wanted to start out by sharing something that I encountered while trying to reply to my 10-year-old granddaughter yesterday. On Tuesday, I asked how she was doing. Her response was sent back to me was two emojis, a smiley face with two hearts and a thumbs up. I later followed up by asking her, how was school? And are you enjoying it more or just happy to see your friends? Her reply, sent 4 days later, was a thumbs up. In response, I sent a good morning greeting yesterday and asked how she was doing. I also asked if she was out with her sisters and having breakfast with her dad. An hour later, her reply was another thumbs up. Wait till I get to my point. Finally, I sent a have a blessed day with your dad and sisters, and immediately I got another smiley face, an emoji, as a reply. At that point, when I looked at what she'd sent, I realized, although I was trying to communicate with this 10-year-old, the only response I was getting back was emojis. It also occurred to me that I was not only trying to get information from her or trying to get answers to my questions, but I didn't have any idea what she was trying to communicate to me through these emojis. You're right, she did try to communicate, but I didn't understand it. I realized I had no idea what was going on in their life. In fact, when I looked at a series of messages that I'd sent the last few times, she reached out to me, I realized that's all I was getting was emojis from her. And I started to realize we may have a whole generation or two of individuals who don't know how to communicate, or the only way they know how to communicate is through emojis. You may wonder why I'm bringing this up, but I think this is an example of a real-world application in the lives of Christians. There's an awful lot going on in the world right now. We've just gone through 2 years of a government shutdown where people were forced at times to huddle together at home. Besides having our freedoms taken away, I'm pretty confident the main problem most people who obeyed the edicts experienced is that they realized they were either extremely lonely because they were living by themselves and desperately needed someone to talk to or interact with, or they realized they may not like the other person or persons they were living with, that was causing a lot of conflict at home. You may wonder, how does this apply today? Well, I have a question that only you can answer. When God the Father is communicating with you and me, how do we respond? When he approaches you, are you prepared to respond back, or do you just send back a quick emoji when it's convenient, when you remember, or when it suits you? Do you actually know how to communicate in such a way as to be heard by others, or are you just sending out the essentials? I'm okay. Guess what's in the news? Have you heard this joke? You'll never guess what happened at work today, but there's actually nothing substantial going out to the other party that's listening to you. When it comes to taking time to talk to your Heavenly Father, are you communicating effectively with your very deepest needs, or are you simply sending out smoke signals, going through the motions, or only taking time to spend with him when you're in dire trouble, in desperate need, or when you're sure, appreciate him doing something for you? Just as it's necessary in real, deep, and honest communication with your loved ones to communicate effectively, we also have to do that with our Heavenly Father. Even though he knows all, he simply wants to have that relationship. He wants that communication with you. And sometimes we need to confess the deepest things that are going on in our life so that we can just go through life. get it off your chest. Whether it's a confession of some sin in your life, for example, admitting that you spend more time watching TV than praying, or you spend more time on social media or complaining about something or some people, or just plain talking about stuff that you really know you ought not to. It shouldn't be coming out of your mouth, and it shouldn't even be in your brain. But that's how you communicate with others, and that is not necessarily how you need to communicate with the Father. I don't know about you, but I have to catch myself all the time, every day, watching the self-talk and paying attention to the stuff floating around in my head. And it may not be very pretty when it does come out, so that's why I got to check it early. I know I have to be real with myself and my Heavenly Father, not to fall into bad habits, like sending out emojis or heat signals when I know I need to be honest. And you know what I mean, where everybody in the household knows there's something going on with you, but you don't say anything because you don't want it to come out of your mouth, but you emote it all around you. Okay? That is real. If you're able to be critically honest, you know the time is actually running out on this world system and the one who rules and reigns on the earth today. It's time to get very deliberate in both your earthly relationships as well as with your Heavenly Father. So the next time He wants to talk to you, don't just send up an emoji. Instead, prepare your heart for a very real encounter, even if it means you're doing it while you're driving your car. I've had some good talks with the Lord while I was driving. Learn to be candid, transparent, and enjoy those heartfelt conversations with your Heavenly Father, because you'll never regret spending that quality time with Him and having that intimacy with Him. 1 Peter 4:7 tells us, the end of the world is coming soon. Therefore be earnest. Another version says be alert and disciplined in your prayers, or be of sober mind so that you may pray. Thank you.